Welcome to my first guide of Deathrun maps focused on completion and survival rather than secrets. Here are at the classic map, Iceworld, featuring multiple floors of deadly traps. This guide will go through each trap step by step, and some of the best ways to survive and trick the deaths. The first trap contains a platform that flips in and reveals a pit of spikes below. The gap isn't very long, so it shouldn't be too hard b-hopping to the other side, or just to walk a bit and jump at the very end. There's a well-known trick with this one. You can stand still on one of the tiles on the right, and when activated still remains flipped up. It's a good trick to fool deaths thinking they've got a free kill. This is not just with the corner too. This works for all 4 sections, but not the left ones. The next trap contains a round of spikes that plummet down when activated, and are left there throughout the rest of the round. These spikes are pretty slow, so if you go through fast enough, they may not get to you, though this wouldn't be the case if the button is pushed preemptively. A crouch jump would be needed if you want to continue your b-hop momentum, and could be quite hard depending on your server's gravity. This trap spawns a toxic gas which does bursts in 35 health. It lasts for approximately 5 seconds. Considering it doesn't instantly kill you, you can weave in and out to get the death to activate it, and you will only take a bit of damage. Or you could go straight through if you're fast enough, though you might want to keep your health for later on. This next one is quite interesting. A door blocks the way, forcing the runner to go underneath. When activated, the top of the water freezes up and drowns the victim underwater. Soon after, the door disappears, allowing everyone else to get through. With this one, you want to get in and out as quick as possible, so you don't go too deep into the water. Sometimes you can get trapped in the ice itself. If this happens, press crouch and you should be let free, with only a bit of damage. This can be used to trick the death as well by dipping in and out of the water. The first auto trap of the map is a pit soon after the last ice trap that reveals itself when stepped on. It is located between this light and this point here, so the light can be used as a guide of sorts for jumping across when it's not activated. Make sure to hold crouch after your jump to make it the full distance. Following on from the pit is an activatable boulder that rolls slowly until it reaches the auto trap. If the pit hasn't been activated yet, it is broken once the boulder reaches it. Due to its slow movement, it is possible to jump over the pit and get the deaths to activate the trap, and then jump back. This can be risky however, especially if you can't see the pit yet. There is also a slight delay for the rock to hit the ground after it's activated, so if you're fast enough you can get through before it crushes you. On the floor below is a set of 2 doors. The one at the end activates first, and then the closest door after a delay, trapping and crushing the victim inside. Due to the long delay, it is possible to weave in and out to activate the first door and then get back in time before you're trapped. Be careful as the doors can crush you as they close. Also, due to the slippery floor, make sure you don't go further than you expected. The next trap contains 3 crushing ice sheets that fall one after another, marked by the blood splatter on the floor. There are also thin auto trap pits to the sides of the main one, so make sure to stay in the middle when getting across. There is also a very subtle colour difference between this trap and the main one. Since the first sheet starts at the back as well as the large delay, it is possible to go through a portion of the trap to fool the death and make it back before the last sheet crushes you. The next section contains an auto trap which has a randomly selected platform per row that breaks apart when you land on it. If you fail, you fall into a pit of water, dealing 35 damage bursts. The faulty platform selected changes each round. A common technique to avoid these is to b-hop on the platforms. Also, since the water doesn't insta-kill, it is still possible to survive if you get out quick enough. The next trap contains 3 poles with spikes that continuously rotate throughout the round. The death can activate the button to stop the trap from moving for a brief period. There are many different tricks and methods to get through this trap. The first is to follow the movement of the spikes until you get out at the end like this. Be prepared for it to stop though. If it does, try to stop yourself as soon as possible, and then continue once it resumes. The second method is to jump through and then crouch like this. Even if the trap is activated, you'll still likely make it through safe. Make sure you have the right speed when doing this so that you don't get hit by the spikes. The last method is to get lucky with the death using the stopper when all the spikes are aligned. Then you'll be able to run through the sides unharmed if you're quick enough. The next trap contains a pole that rotates when activated and a pit located underneath. This one isn't too hard and can be easily hopped across, even when rotated, though in some instances this doesn't work and you can be flung down. You could also b-hop across the entire thing if you worry about slipping off, though this could be quite hard and risky in and of itself with the rotating spikes behind. The final floor contains a bunch of snowmen that explode when touched, and leaves a hole to the pit below in its wake. The ice is very slippery here, so be careful when weaving through this maze. Crouch if you have to slow down even more. If you're skilled enough, you can b-hop through this to avoid the slip, and to get through quicker. If the server's gravity is low enough, it is also possible to jump over the snowmen, allowing for a speedy skip. Be careful not to slip into another one with all that extra momentum though. The next trap raises up a deadly whale which kills you if you get near its mouth. This trap is very easy to bait due to its slow movement and tiny hitbox. The movement of the whale doesn't kill you, so it's possible to jump straight over while only doing a bit of damage. The next trap crushes runners when activated, pauses a while and then lifts back up. There's not much you can do with this trap apart from psychological tricks and baiting. It isn't a huge area of damage, so it shouldn't be too hard. When the trap lifts up, be careful as the edges will kill you as it moves. The crush effect on the ground signals to other runners that it has been activated, but can be used again with a pretty quick repress time. The following area contains a gust of wind that blows runners downward into the pit below. Similar to the previous trap, a hole in the roof is left behind, but can be used again. If you just dip yourself in and get back, you might be able to survive and not get blown into the pit. This goes same for the end, where you might still just be able to make it, even when activated. It is also possible to go through when activated if you go really fast, but be careful of the previous trap when b-hopping due to its short cooldown. The next trap contains a couple of spikes with rotating platforms and a set of spikes in the middle that go up when activated. Be careful when jumping over these spikes even when it's not active, as the narrow gate and spikes will trip you up. It's best to start at the right and use strafes in the air to slip through, and avoid the spikes on the other side. Also start right instead of the left, as the extra speed will help you get across. A common bait is to look like you're going for the jump and then b-hop in place like so. And there we have it. Thanks for watching my first map guide for Deathrun. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe and leave in the comments what maps you'd like to see next.